See, sometimes I feel like spicing up my intros, but then I'm like, why not? Alright, I started with this window open, but it's already annoying the hell out of me, so let's just rock it raw. So, welcome to my vid, and good morning to you. So, as you read by the title, this is me just showcasing basically all the cool gadgets and gizmos I got. Ooh, don't want to forget, right? Let me just open this drawer and fuck. Guess I should. Guess putting all my pokey things in the floor might be not a great idea, but we'll live. Anyway, I'll give you the panoramic view. That's my current collection. In times, my collection has been bigger. Obviously, it's been smaller at some points. I've lost a lot of good members along the way, but we still got a pretty good cast. Though it's not what I would call my complete desired weapon collection. I love an elegant weapon, and tools of war are valued in my culture, especially for the zombie apocalypse type deals. So these would be very helpful for the apocalypse, though I think I could use a spear in my life. Anyway, I just want to run through all of these and basically tell you all about them, show you it for all of them, because it's nice in the morning, and lately what I've been doing is saying to myself that I can't eat breakfast till I've at least shot a video or done something uncomfortable for my day. It's just a way to stay active. Alright, let's run down the line. Starting with the pocket knives. Here we go. This is one of my favorites. Very sturdy. I believe it's a Timberwolf. I forget the name of it. Assisted opening. Very sharp. I have almost never used it, but this is one of the knives that I delegate or relegate, designate to my all-purposeness. Like some knives, like you wouldn't want to cut wood with or plastic, but this one I like to use for everything. And this is the one I leave in my car, such that if I ever forget a knife, I always have one that's super dependable. I guess I'll leave them open when they're done, but I'll also be careful, I promise. Now this is one. The state that I live in is Connecticut, so there are carry laws, of course, and this one will be illegal to carry, but you're allowed to have pretty much anything inside your own home. So this is my pocket machete. It's a kukri, and it's just like a nice hybrid between a huge blade and a pocket knife, and it's also assisted opening. I forget exactly who makes this. Oh, this is also Timberwolf. I want to keep the screen awake. Alright. One more nice opening. This is the one that you lob, like, I don't know, if people had smaller necks, this would be for that, but hey, use your weapons responsibly. Only on people in the apocalypse when they're trying to kill you first. Most of these are just for show, because I actually don't even really like to use my knives that much. I like to keep them in tip-top condition. This is just a random-ass Swiss Army knife, honestly. I'm not even going to bother opening that. Like, never touched it, never used it. It's not even mine. Someone just left it here. Now, this is one of my favorite blades of all time. I've lost it a few times, and I've always rebought it when I lost it. Sierra KT Endorser, and I do, in fact, endorse it. It's sharp, it's quick, lightning quick. It's a good shape. Like, this is one of those knives I was talking about that you wouldn't use for wood, but this is the best out of all these knives for the paper test. I do want to touch up briefly on each of the cool features on these knives, and this one in particular is very cool. It's also spring assisted, but the mechanism is unlike any other I've ever seen. You don't just push this out. This is actually a button. Now, it's not an automatic knife such that when you just push this, it flies open, but this is unlocking it basically. So you push in the nub to unlock it, and then push out to the side, and that's how you get it open. Very cool. One of my favorite knives of all time. Now, lately I've been going into a Kershaw phase, and every single Kershaw knife I've ever seen or had has been great. I forget what this one's called. Maybe the Speed Safe? That's right. It's a very small knife, elegant. This is probably the lightest weighing knife out of all these. Also very, very sharp. Very cool. Big fan of Kershaw, and I will continue to buy them. Now, there's also a Kershaw knife that I have bought a few times, much like this one. In fact, I would say that the Kershaw knife I'm talking about is my favorite knife of all time, but unfortunately I actually lost it in Virginia and I haven't gotten around to buying another one yet. We'll get there. But for now, let's just see what we got. Now here's a pretty fun one. I think it's very cool. I love Karambit style knives, which is basically a curved blade, like a talon. This one here is a pocket knife. Very good. This is what I would just call a heavy duty knife. Like, you could use this for just about anything. It's a very, very sturdy piece. Not spring assisted, so I almost never carry it though. Because there is important criteria for a carry knife, and I believe that also deserves its own video. But first, I just wanted to show you basically everything I have. Now, this is a USMC Hawk Bill. Oh, this is a Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops Karambit, by the way. The USMC Hawk Bill, one of my favorites. Now, this knife used to be very, very sharp with its spring assist, but since it's gotten wet, it hasn't been the same, and it doesn't actually stick open, but nonetheless, one of my favorites. Alright, I'll leave you with that. This is actually my designated water knife at the moment. Because it's already been wet and kind of ruined a little bit, anytime I'm going underwater or in the rain, that's the one. Alright, now, this knife used to be much more elegant, but since it's become broken over time, in fact, the clip broke off, now this is just like my go-to using knife. Like, anytime I need to, like, just mess something up or dull a blade on a project, this is the one I use. It's an awesome knife. I'll probably buy another one sometime so I can have one for its true purposes of awesomeness, but this is the Chinois Bloodbone. Very cool. As you can see, it's one of the easiest spring assists I've ever seen. This is a very lightweight, sharp blade, and just so slightly, and she's boom. That's lightning quick. Very cool color scheme too. Got this blue metal with the wood. Fake Damascus. Yes, it's fake. Now onto Kershaw again. I forget the name of this one. Kershaw something, but maybe Link? No. Link is my favorite one. I forget the name of this one, but this has... Oh, maybe it'll say on it. It also says speed safe, so never mind. That must be the mechanism. So this has basically been my main carry knife for a few weeks now, because it's not super elegant. It's what I would call an all-purpose utility knife, but it's also got a quick opening. It looks pretty cool, and it's sharp and reliable. So I'm gonna keep rocking with this one. This is probably gonna be the main carry knife for a very, very long time. It serves all its purposes very well. And here we got Bear and Son, I believe. This is a butterfly knife, if you're not familiar with somehow. It's got two handles and a blade, and basically you're just meant to learn how to do tricks for opening it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the screen active. Now, I do know some tricks. That'll be its own video, but for now I'm just showing off the blade. And this is very cool. Now, here's the predicament, though, is that this is actually, it was, at least, decently is, but this is a very sharp blade, and you don't actually exactly want your butterfly knives to be sharp, because your fingers are at a very high risk. But once you know what you're doing, it ain't so bad, really. And those are very basic tricks. I've seen much crazier in my day, in person and especially on the internet. Look up Behind the 8 Ball if you're curious to a crazy trick. Now, these two I'll address at once. These are my throwers, and these are the best throwing knives I've ever come across. They stick almost every time, or at least they used to before they got super doled out, but no offense if this is like offensive religious imagery or something. I really don't know how that all works, but honestly, you throw this and it'll stick in any side, basically. I love it. And I mean, you can't go wrong with a batarang. Very sharp on the ends. I like throwing it like this, and it comes around sticking in like this. And also, this one does stick a majority of the time. So these are the most successful throwing knives I've ever been a part of. Now, this here's a dagger with sentimental value that I will not get into, but the handle is broken. I only keep this around because it's like a hidden blade. Maybe one day I can use it for one. You know, like Assassin's Creed. It's so hard to do one-handed. But I'm hoping one day I can use it for something cool. The sides of this are completely dull. It's just a dagger, so Only the end is sharp. I'll leave it as it is. This is what I call the the bone blade. My brother gifted this for me. More of a decorative piece, but certainly good for making sushi. Pretty sharp, pretty lightweight, all in all. Much better against organic material. Not so much a actual use knife. I suppose I'll leave it open to follow the pattern. Keep the screen on. Thank you, GoPro, for being efficient with your battery life, though. Alright, now we're getting into the big business here. My Apocalypse blades. This is just more of a camp hatchet. I mean, this could be great against zombies. I have a lot of criteria when it comes to why I have certain weapons, but axes are one of the best weapons against zombies because you can destroy the skull much easier than with a blade of any kind. This is just something I was given a long time ago. I'd probably never use this. It's a little bent, broken, but it could work if needed. But this is a Black Legion camp hatchet or camp axe, and this is my designated zombie tool. I'm not sure I have a better weapon against the zombies than this. In fact, I have two of them. One of them is in that bag, which I will get to in a bit. First, let me show you my pride and joy here, my Karambit's collection. These are things that I've had for a very long time, and I certainly love. Like I said, Karambit is my favorite style of blade. It's the curve, the talon. It's a velociraptor. Meant to be held in reverse a lot of the time, but I actually am a big fan of holding it traditional as well. Plus, it's got a nasty thing here. I don't know exactly what to call it, but I could serve as a jab if you need, I guess. Though, if you're gonna jab, you might as well jab. Anyway, this is one of my favorites, the Honshu Karambit. And now we've got my pride and joy, the Gill Hibbin Karambit. My shiniest, sharpest blade. It fits a bit weird in the hands, I'll be honest, but it certainly does work, and it's got even meaner looking bumps on the finger guard. Just a more elegant blade in general. This thing would be at my side during the apocalypse. No question about it. Alright, now on to the more destructive tools. I guess that's not true. This one isn't so bad, really. This is it's like a fantasy sword, I suppose, from the movie Serenity or something. Tomahawk is the brand. This is an alright blade. I bought it at a Renaissance fair. I just thought it was very cool, but this would not be a good zombie tool, and I wouldn't even really use it for PvP combat. It's a super, super lightweight, like, you could just fucking throw this, like, no problem. That being said, it's only sharp on one side. This blade has some issues for me. I think the spike is pretty cool, but it's also a hindrance, because you can't stab with this, because you'd hit him with the edge. It wouldn't get any penetration. The spike is pretty brutal, but it's more of a chopping weapon, I'd say. Cool to have, but I got no super use for it. Now, before I get into my survival bag here, here's my pride and joy. This is I don't know the brand, but it's a 300 Forged Warrior Sword is what it's called. Modeled after the Greek sword, Spartan sword. Now, this is one heavy-ass sword. My estimation is 5 to 15 pounds. Up to 20, though. It's very handle light. Now, the design on this sword is amazing. This is very thick steel. Yeah, I've heard you can chop nails with it, and the video on the website shows people destroying a car with this, stabbing through the windows and the doors and just destroying the hell out of it. So this is one hell of a blade. Only problem is that this handle is absolutely garbage. It just rocks around and makes noise when you swing it. I don't know if I'd trust it for any kind of practice. That being said, this is meant to be my true apocalypse weapon because it works for people, and it's heavy and strong enough to work for a zombie as well. It could even get through the skull and into the brain. Good for stabbing, slashing, chopping, anything. This is the blade. and I love training to wield it one-handed because it does require a fair amount of strength. All right, I've got a few things left to show you. Don't want to be forgetting. I don't really want to step over these things, but I must at some point. So, let's see here. My survival bag will get its own video, just showing you everything in it, but I just want to run through the blades that are in it, because I keep a lot, and this is one that I keep in my car at all times. I don't know what this is, just random blade. Like, I was just thinking, like, why not have an extra blade? And it's not too bad, you know. It could come in handy, though I'm not really relying on it for too much. Like I said, just nice to have something around. Alright. Do got some good, actually, some real good blades in here, though, so I do want to get to those. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, man, I forgot all about these. Let's see. Is there any more than these two in here? You have to excuse me. Taking my time here. Oh, yes. Glad I went digging. Okay, I believe that these are the three in this section. So in this bottom pocket here, we got three things. So this right here is a little blade of memories. This is actually the oldest knife out of all of these blades. I've had this since I was in probably 5th or 6th grade, which, if you didn't know, is probably 6 years at least. No, more than that, dude, like 8 years. So we're probably approaching a decade with this knife. This is also a heavy-duty knife. That's why it's in my survival bag, because I can trust my life to it. This is the SOG, S-O-G, Magnadot. Very cool. This is a cool, interesting mechanism. The lock back. In most knives, the lock function is here, but in this case, you just press in the back, and that's how you get her open. Keep this in the bag at all times. I've also got a fillet knife for fish. I actually have used this for fish before. Ain't that cool? Me and my buddies went fishing for some trout, stocked pond, yeah, and I was able to use this blade for our dinner. It was a very cool experience. Now, this is actually a great knife, a very, very cool, fancy knife that I actually always forget about. This is a Ridge Runner Celtic something. Fixed blade, wood, full tang, all steel. This is the essence of awesome, durable. Everything about this knife is beautiful. So I like to keep this in the bag. Not really sure what I would use it for exactly, but I figure in the apocalypse I want to have some sick blades, so I do. I believe in this middle pocket here, we got some stuff, but no weapons, so I will save that for later. Oh, I seem to have lost it. I do want to find it. So, that camp axe I showed you earlier, that green one there, there's another one in this bag. I believe it's in the middle pocket. I do want to find it, because I want to make sure it's there. Yep, here it is. That's just the handle, just so you know. Alright, and we're here to the very, very last of it now. Not quite done with all my weapons, but this will be the last of my blades. Oh, I actually completely did not even know about that. I'm so glad I went through here. Alright, let's see. Alright, down to the last two. Now, this is one that I used to see in Walmart all the time. Always wanted to cop it, and I finally did. Camillus Titanium. A really nice fixed blade knife. Very soft handle. Rubber. I mean, I don't know exactly what to call it, because I ain't no scientist for this sort of thing. But I could trust this to be reliable for all-purpose utility work. Certainly. Now, this I did not know I had. I actually somehow did not. I just didn't know. But this is a dive knife. Because I like to go underwater sometimes, and I always like to be strapped. So I've got that water knife I showed you earlier. This one here in the middle. But this is actually meant for a real dive, like straight up scuba diving. If you need a blade, here we go. You just take this out. This would be strapped to your leg. That's what these rubber things are. Here we go. Serrated on the other half and sharp on this side. Good for piercing. The dive knife. This is so cool. I'm so glad I looked through my bag because, like I said, I really didn't know I had this thing. Very cool. Alright, actually, I will leave it outside it for now. Alright, guys, we've reached nearly the end. In fact, I believe there's only a few things left to show you. So, I guess I'll show you these first. I've got 2 frog spears. These are things that you like attach to a broomstick or a regular stick. So it's like a trident basically, and you can stick frogs with it. That's very cool. One summer, me and my friends had eating frogs was our initiation to this club. This is a more practical frog spear, if you ask me. The other one's way too big. Just butcher it. Now, I have a decorative piece to show you, I suppose. Assassin's Creed 3 Tomahawk. Very cool. Assassin's Creed is really what got me into everything that I love, honestly. It's the simplest way to put it. So the last 2 things we got here are 2 different bows. I do not know anything about this bow or what it's called or anything like that. But it's probably between 30 and 40 pounds, maybe 20 to 40 pounds. It's a decent weight, but it's very easy for me to pull back. Also, it's not a compound bow. I don't know exactly what it is, unless I'm lying. And these are proof that it's a compound bow. It doesn't have let off, I don't think, so I'm not sure it counts as a real compound bow. Could be just recurve or something like that. But this is my go-to. This is my true bow. This is what I would use for the apocalypse, because I needed a ranged weapon. And guns, you need a license for and all that, so archery was my way to go. Now, that was a gift to me from a man named Papa Bear when I was in Virginia last for street beefs. But this is my personal bow, the Parker Eagle. It is pretty decked out with my attachments. Got a nice neon sight on it. The whisker biscuit basically means the fletching can pass through here without getting damaged. Now, I really didn't know what I was getting into with this archery when I bought it. I just wanted the strongest thing possible so it could be used for anything. This is rated to kill bears. This is rated to pass clean through a bear or an elk. This is about 70 to 80 pound draw weight, which I came to find is a bit excessive and ridiculous. That being after I shot it through my neighbor's fence and stuck it in the side of her house from the bottom of a hill. But she never found out. Luckily, she wasn't home. So I just ran over and caught my arrow, and that was that. But let me give you one last panoramic view. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed. I just wanted to take this time to show you all my stuff here. I will probably get more once I get back employed again, or I get famous. But for now, this is enough to sustain me for most emergencies. Next, I would probably get a high quality sword like a katana, a spear, maybe like a warhammer or a club or something. And always, I love carry knives. Anything that I can bring around with me is something that I become personally attached to. So I love to master the pocket knife. I've got some great ones, but there's always room for improvement, or at least for more. Alright guys, sometime soon I'll actually make a video about my criteria for a good carry knife, and also I'll get in the deets about this survival bag. But for now, just gonna put all these things away before I stab my feet off. Have a good day.